American Prince. JFK Jr. Episode 1 is a moving and revealing look at the life of John F. Kennedy Jr., the son of President John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and the man who grew up as America's prince. The episode opens with iconic footage and interviews, immediately setting the tone for a story about legacy, expectation, and the struggle to find one's own identity when the whole world is watching. From the start, it's clear that John Jr. was never just another celebrity. He was the living symbol of the Kennedy myth, carrying the hopes and dreams of a nation still haunted by the tragedy of his father's assassination. The documentary begins with John Jr. on Larry King Live, reflecting on the complicated reality of being the son of a legend. He admits that it's complicated, and the episode quickly dives into the heart of that complexity. Friends, family, and journalists describe how John spent his entire life trying to figure out who he was, always fighting against being treated as just his father's son. The pressure to live up to the Kennedy name was immense, with everyone expecting him to be successful, respected, and perhaps even destined for politics. John's childhood was shaped by both privilege and pain. He was raised in the White House, surrounded by the trappings of power and fame, but also by the constant scrutiny of the media. His mother, Jackie, was determined to protect his privacy, planting trees to block photographers, while his father understood the political value of a wholesome family image. The episode explores this tug-of-war, showing how John was caught between his parents' competing visions for his future. The assassination of President Kennedy is a pivotal moment in the episode, with archival footage and interviews capturing the grief that swept the nation. John Jr., just 3 years old, became a symbol of loss and hope, saluting his father's casket in a moment that would be replayed for decades. The American public projected their aspirations onto him, seeing him as the boy who would one day revive Camelot. This burden of expectation followed John throughout his life, shaping his choices and relationships. As John grew older, he struggled to carve out his own path. He attended Brown University, where he was known for his charm and good looks, but also for the JK factor, a kind of special treatment that came with being a Kennedy. Professors and classmates recall how John was both privileged and pressured, always aware that the world was watching. His mother continued to play a powerful role behind the scenes, filling out applications and writing letters to professors to help him succeed. John's relationship with his mother was central to his development. Jackie was both nurturing and stern, acting as a hidden hand to guide him through life's challenges. She wanted him to be independent but also to live up to the family legacy. When Jackie was diagnosed with lymphoma and passed away, John was devastated, feeling too young to be an orphan. Her final letter to him, read in the episode, is a poignant reminder of the pressure he would always face as a Kennedy, and her hope that he would make the family proud no matter what path he chose. The episode also delves into John's romantic life, which was the subject of endless tabloid speculation. From his relationships with Daryl Hannah and Christina Hogg to his eventual marriage to Carolyn Bessette, John's love life was always under the microscope. Friends and family describe how Jackie's approval was crucial, and how John's relationships were often complicated by the demands of fame and family. Carolyn is portrayed as a smart, sophisticated woman who helped John feel like he could be his own person, even as the world watched their every move. John's professional journey is another major focus of the episode. After law school and a stint as a prosecutor, John decided to launch George magazine, a bold and risky venture that aimed to make politics accessible and entertaining. The episode chronicles the challenges of starting a magazine, from pitching investors to dealing with the demands of publishers who wanted to turn George into a celebrity fan club. John's vision was to blur the lines between liberal and conservative, to create a post-partisan space where people could engage with politics in a new way. The birth of George magazine is portrayed as both a triumph and a struggle. John faced skepticism from the publishing world, with many dismissing the project as a vanity endeavor. But he persisted, drawing on his family's connections and his own charisma to make the magazine a reality. The episode highlights the tension between John's desire to be taken seriously and the constant pressure to live up to the Kennedy myth. Friends and colleagues describe how John lost weight, worked tirelessly, and poured his heart into the magazine, determined to prove the doubters wrong. Throughout the episode, the theme of identity is ever present. John is shown as a free spirit, always seeking to break boundaries and create his own life apart from the expectations of his family. Whether moving downtown to Tribeca or launching a magazine, John was always trying to assert his independence. Yet, as the episode makes clear, there was no such thing as a private, normal day in the life of John F. Kennedy Jr. He was always the focus of public adoration and tabloid fodder, never able to escape the spotlight. The episode ends with John's engagement to Carolyn Bessette, a moment that sparked a frenzy of curiosity and speculation. Friends describe how Carolyn was nervous about the attention, wanting to keep the relationship private for as long as possible. But as soon as the news broke, the world was once again fixated on John, the world's most eligible bachelor, and his next chapter. American Prince. JFK Jr. Episode 1 is a powerful exploration of legacy, loss, and the search for self. It paints a portrait of a man who was both privileged and burdened, loved and scrutinized, always trying to find his own way in a world that refused to let him be ordinary. The episode sets the stage for the rest of the series, promising deeper insights into John's life, his impact on American culture, and the enduring myth of Camelot. If you haven't watched American Prince, JFK Jr. Episode 1 yet, now is the perfect time to catch up. The episode is packed with archival footage, intimate interviews, and thoughtful analysis that bring John's story to life. Whether you're a Kennedy fan, a history buff, or just curious about the man behind the myth, this series offers a compelling look at one of America's most fascinating figures.